But we do begin with that breaking news. According to our team in Russia, a business jet has crashed about 100 miles northwest of Moscow, killing 10 people. We have some video to show you here on Russian media purporting to show the plane actually falling out of the sky. Russia's Federal Agency for Air Transportation is reporting that the founder of the Wagner mercenary group, Yevgeny Prigozhin, was listed among the passengers, but it's unclear if he actually boarded the plane.
Now, Russian officials say that all 10 people on board that craft, including 3 crew members, were killed. And remember, Prigozhin had been leading troops fighting for Russia in Ukraine when he decided to lead that aborted mutiny against Vladimir Putin a couple of months ago. After the rebellion, which just kind of fizzled out, Russian media reported Prigozhin had been relocated to Belarus. So ABC News foreign correspondent Tom Soufi-Burridge joins us now from Kiev, along with ABC News national security and defense analyst and former CIA operative Mick Mulroy. They join us now. So first, Tom, what are you hearing there? We've heard that so far 8 bodies have been recovered from the crash site. Well, what are you hearing on the ground?
Yeah, Terry, we know that Yevgeny Prigozhin's private jet left a major Moscow airport at about 3 p.m. local time. We know that it went down minutes later. We're seeing that video, which appears to show debris or parts of the plane literally plummeting from the sky. So I'm not sure it's, at this point in time, we can definitively say that the plane crashed. There are lots of reports, unconfirmed reports, about the possible cause of this incident. We'll come to that in a second, but what we know from Russia's state federal aviation regulator is that Yevgeny Prigozhin's name was on the flight list. We know that there were 10 passengers listed of being on that plane. We know that 8 bodies have been recovered from the scene. We cannot definitively say at this point in time whether Yevgeny Prigozhin, this highly controversial figure who has led his mercenary group around the world, in Africa, it's been accused of vile human rights abuses, and crucially was fighting here in Ukraine with Yevgeny Prigozhin weeks ago going on that mutiny against the Kremlin, really against his former ally, President Putin. We can't say for sure at this moment in time that Yevgeny Prigozhin was physically on the plane and is dead.
And Mick, you said that this is most likely no accident.
Well, that's right, Kira. I don't think anybody's surprised that this happened. If in fact Prigozhin was killed on this plane, and possibly Utkin, who is the ops chief, if you will, and the actual founder of Wagner, it may be that the Kremlin was trying to figure out how to continue Wagner operations, which makes quite a bit of money for the Kremlin. They were trying to figure out potentially how to keep that going without them, and this may indicate that they figured it out. But they also may have wanted to have some plausible deniability, because the internal conflict this may cause is something they might want to avoid.
Tom, you know, what we are hearing now is that Prigozhin, you know, as you pointed out, was on the manifest, on the passenger list there. it reminds me of the old adage, when you strike at a king, kill him, because if you don't, you're in trouble. And how do you make what do you make of how this follows that mutiny against the Kremlin? Obviously, it's a powerfully circumstantial evidence, but what was Prigozhin after in that mutiny, and why didn't he finish the job?
Yeah, the line was bad in your question, but I got most of it, Terry. I mean, look, I think you were asking about, you know, the events running up to this. And weeks ago, back in June, Yevgeny Prigozhin, the backstory before then is that Yevgeny Prigozhin's Wagner fighting force was very active in Ukraine. It was very active around a key eastern city, or a key battle that went on for months and months. Many of his men were killed. Yevgeny Prigozhin was going on social media criticizing the Russian Ministry of Defense in a very pointed way, basically going into a kind of public shouting match with very senior figures within the Russian military and the Russian Ministry of Defense. President Putin wasn't stepping into that. He was keeping quiet on that. And then suddenly in June, just as the Russian Ministry of Defense was effectively trying to kind of close down his private military company, his mercenary group, Yevgeny Prigozhin basically launched this rebellion. And he got as far as taking control of a key Russian city, Rostov-on-Don, in the southwest, not that far from Moscow. He was then threatening to march on Moscow. President Putin went on TV and said that the Wagner Group, he didn't name Prigozhin at the time personally, but he said the Wagner Group were traitors. Then there was a kind of backroom deal reportedly. We think that Putin, the Kremlin, cut a deal with Wagner and Prigozhin. Then we got reports that Prigozhin had gone off to Belarus. We last saw him popping up in Africa, in Mali. And we thought that Prigozhin had gone back to his old days of running his mercenary group predominantly from Africa. Now we're getting this incident. It appears at the moment that Prigozhin might have met a horrible death. We can't confirm that at this point in time, but I think it's worth, in the sort of sphere of facts and possible disinformation. In Russia, there is a lot of disinformation from official and non-official channels, but a lot of channels at the moment are putting all kinds of theories out there. One is that this was a terrorist incident, that the plane came down because of terrorism. Another is that, reportedly, unconfirmed, the plane was shot down by Russian air defense.
Well, it certainly sends a message, no matter what, to all of Putin's opponents. Tom Soufi-Burridge and Mick Mulroy, thanks very much.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.